Can you tell us what's the white noise? Come from the nature, or come from the laboratory, or come from the musician? What's the white noise? Why it is so popular these days?
Good question, because until recently, I had a very partial view of white noise. It's actually present in all those areas that you spoke of. Let's talk about the most boring one first, which is essentially or at least the term white noise came from electronic and signal processing engineers who needed a measurement tool when it's when people are testing telephones or sound synthesizers, and they want a measurement tool against which they can measure whatever it is that they're doing with their processing. And white noise is, in their case, an electronically derived signal which encompasses what did we say it sounds like? You know, when you an old-fashioned radio set, when you tune in and you haven't got in between the stations and you get this sort of fizzy, noisy sound. It's a bit like that. It takes
We have a video.
Full spectrum from the lowest sound that we can hear to the highest sound that we can hear. That's what it is, and that's why it's you can understand perhaps why it's useful for people measuring
white noise
electronic signals.
Means the spectrum is not focused on the noise.
It's full spectrum. It is a noise. We call it a noise because as distinct from a melodic sound, for example. But it's now.
So how many kinds of white noise?
White noise has become very popular recently as a relaxing tool. And very often people will create electronically derived white noise and use it to help babies sleep, for example. Apparently it's very effective.
Not only baby, also adult.
That's
many people are looking for the sleeping music.
Now we see white noise in nature. And we can think of some specific examples. Big waterfalls. We're talking full spectrum here, viewers. Right from the lowest, right from the highest, and everything in between. So nature sounds. So we can talk waves crashing on a beach. Big waves. You're getting the full spectrum of the sound. Even a torrential rainstorm. You'll get this big full spectrum. Now. Although rainstorms we can associate with being not terribly pleasant, certainly we find
rainstorm, ocean, and also waterfall.
Oceans breaking on the seashore, and big waterfalls. We find those very relaxing. And even the big rain thunderstorms, all these things create great ozone. You know, we know this is a whole other area, but it's very beneficial to be around. So the whole environment around natural white noise is very therapeutic in the purest way, and I would argue, although I don't think there's been any research done into this, that naturally derived white noise is much more beneficial than anything that's created electronically. The same way as
you're talking about the brain waves. Yes, this is directly impact our brain waves because it is too powerful. Like you say, the whole spectrum. So our brainwave, we immerse in those kind of white noise, like waterfall or ocean waves. You know, couple minutes later, we got just totally lost in the waves, right? Not only the sound,
right. Yeah, we get lost. We get lost in the sound.
Our brainwave was gradually synchronized by the nature sound.
Indeed. Waves have got an additional element. To say a waterfall, what's the deal? If you're interested in this, viewers, they've got a rhythm to them. And the extraordinary thing, as I found out some years ago when I was doing an album with a shamanic poet who was reciting this poetry rhythmically to these waves that I'd recorded on Brighton Beach, my local beach, that it's got its rhythm. There's actually a beautifully strict wavering of
the ocean waves is very similar to our beta waves.
So it's
brain
very
waves.
interesting, and I think this is another reason why they're
that's
so
nature.
relaxing, so innovating.
Yeah, nature.
And so much more therapeutic than anything electronically derived.
And how about the organic music?
Well, how about it? I think that our premier instrument we play, which represents white noise, are the big gongs.
Yeah.
Which again are full spectrum, right? For they create tones right from the lowest we can hear to right to beyond our hearing, up and below. The subtones and the ultra harmonics disappear beyond our hearing, and they embrace us not just on a physical level, as I always say to people coming to gong bars, but they can impact on our mind, of course, relaxing, therapeutic for our bodies, and can take us to a higher state of consciousness. So it's kind of body, mind, and spirit impacts of the full spectrum sound envelope that gongs create is a great example of white noise in practice that we use.
And that's why so many people feedback to us that after the gong bath or during the gong bath they fall to sleep. Very natural, very common. It just can't help because the waves, like you say, the whole spectrum just totally, how do you say that, immerse.
Well, we use that word immersion. Sound immersion is another alternative to gong bars we use, but our brains and our ears, our minds give up. It's not like a
very important thing is give up.
It's not like
surrender.
Listening to music where you can follow the melodic line, you can follow the rhythm. So there's something for you to fix on. There's something fixed about it. With white noise or with gongs in general, there's nothing there to fix on. It's just constant. There's a constancy to it. That causes our minds to give up, and in the giving up is the key thing. That's the thing that takes us into this wonderful, relaxing, innovating, ultimately potentially higher consciousness space. If we don't go to sleep, that is.
One key point is you mentioned about give up, surrender. It's just follow the waves. But some people try to analyze. What's this? Why is so loud? What is this? They try to analyze or try to resist. I don't like it. So they can't get the benefit, right?
It's a kind of this English word brittle. It's sort of, they're not bending with the way that if you've got a tree in the wind and it's swaying, it's going with the flow of the wind. Now, if it's brittle and it just tries to resist it, well, it's just going to get the branches are going to break. If it's supple and swaying, then it's going with the flow of it. And it's a bit like that. It's kind of brittle. Oh no, I don't like that. And of course, it's not going to have that whole thing brings up anxiety, and then you're going through that whole thing of, oh no, that's not for me.
That remind me of another instrument is a drum instrument, like sitar. So when you listen those kind of the drum melodies, it's just lost.
That's not
your brain couldn't process.
Exactly. So no, you're right. That's not strictly it's
not white noise
because it's not a full spectrum instrument, but it has a similar effect in the sense that it doesn't do anything, if you like. I mean, it's not like an electronically derived sine wave, which is just constant. It's like, if you like, a straight line. It does meander about because, with a drone like a tambura or something in Indian music, it wavers around its dominant note. And of course, there are harmonics that are flying out of it, but it stays the same. There's no melody. There's nothing's going on.
Electronic? Or?
No, I'm talking about like an Indian tambura. tambura or something, or harmonium or whatever, a shruti or something. But it doesn't do anything. It's not going anywhere. The sound, there's no melody, there's no change in the rhythm or anything like that.
It's very interesting. So you listen certain of sound or music, like sound like ocean wave, like raindrops, like the birds, or the like you say the gong, shuri box, and the like sitar, those kind of instruments. It just totally lost. It just very relaxing.
I think
because
so.
Your
you
brain,
get lost in the sound. Lost in sound.
It's very nature.
And I actually, I'm not that well versed with. I do look at research into these areas because it's of interest to me. But although with the is it called the EEGs when you put all the things all and all this stuff? There's a lot of sound therapy research into sound therapy and the benefits of sound therapy. But whether there's been very much research into exactly what we're talking about, I'm not so sure there has been, because it's actually. We're not really talking about sound therapy and focused sound therapy. If you go to a waterfall, it's a sound therapeutic experience. Well, it's not somebody setting themselves up and charging you 10p entrance to go to the waterfall for a sound therapeutic experience, but that's what it is. It's not a formal one, but that's what it is, basically.
So, do you have anything you want to say?
Well, I was going to say not so much about the white noise. I think we have had another video on white noise.
Yes.
But one thing I would like to say is the relaxing. What's the word? Confluence. The joining together of organic instruments, as we call them, like the gongs and singing bowls and so on. Joined together with natural sounds like we were talking about bird song, water of all sorts, running water, rivers and streams and so on,
ocean,
and even another thing about viewers about thunderstorms that we famously know about is that there's a sort of a tension rises as the thunder, the thunder's coming and the thunderstorm, but when the thunderstorm breaks, there's this kind of curious release, and the ozone in the air is actually again very, very powerful. So we also have thunderstorms, and I was going to say, well, why don't we recommend to our viewers our Sonic Blessings Ode to Nature album? Would you like to say something about that just before we close?
It's just listen. It's not only a background music, it's more than that. When you listen, you just feel that so rich. It's like a good coffee, so rich.
It's a lovely combination of what we did, and I worked very hard on it, taking nature sounds that I recorded in the Scottish Highlands, was it, and in the coastal regions of Taiwan, rivers, bird songs a lot, and even a typhoon, actually, thunderstorms, insects, amazing, the sound of the bugs, together with our organic instruments like gongs and pipes and
really beautiful, and
they join together and create this wonderful soundscapes, don't they?
Soundscape.
So that's what I would recommend for people who want
this is a short clip of the Ode to Nature.
More information down below, as we famously say. There will be more information down below.
Okay. See you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.